Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here before, hello, my name is Grace, and usually on this channel I try to focus on the realities of building a happy and intentional life. I do one of these videos once every 3 months, so every quarter I do a different one, and today's is the mid-year check-in reset because I don't know about you guys, I talked a big talk 3 months ago being like, yeah, let's get it. The rest of our year is gonna be so good. I have all these ideas and plans, and I planted some seeds literally and metaphorically, but literally this is what happened. They all died. So clearly I was not tending to my garden properly in any sense of the word. I feel like I've definitely kept my expectations a little too high in terms of setting myself quotas and deadlines and expectations. So now I'm trying to approach my goals and habits and systems and such in a different way so that it sets me up better for the second half of the year, and I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to do the same. We are going to make the second half of 2023 better than the first half, and everything's gonna be okay this year. So my main goal at the beginning of this year was basically just to focus on my health and kind of creating healthy habits in order to uplift my life and lifestyle. This included staying on a minimalist path, pursuing a holistic health approach to healing my chronic severe eczema, and essentially just building up other habits to support myself emotionally throughout all of those different kinds of changes. So with that, the core idea of what I wanted to do and achieve this year, I feel like I've been pretty good, but all of the other specific goals that I've had, I've definitely fallen off the wagon, and I'm sure you can relate to that as well. So now that our old seeds have perished, let's plant some new ones. Even if some may say it is too late to do so at this point in the year, I really think that it's never too late to get started on something. I will be physically planting as well. We're gonna be asking ourselves some questions, so feel free to write these down and journal about them, because they are kind of the journaling questions that I'm asking myself this month. But I wanted to pose them to you, give some examples and advice to back each one up, and then kind of lay out how I'm going to tackle them so that you guys can get real life examples of how I'm implementing all of these questions into my life. So stick around and let's get started. Question number 1. What do you want the rest of this year to feel like? Do we want it to feel calm, productive, joyful, centered, peaceful, aligned? Personally, I would love all of those things, but obviously the key is balance. As I talked about in my last video, I was kind of trying to seek more of a weekly rhythm so that my day-to-day schedule could be a bit more peaceful and easygoing, and I kind of know what to expect on the day-to-day basis. I also talked about how I really wanted to implement more slow living practices into my daily life. So really think about how you want the rest of your year to feel, and then everything else will kind of be based off of that. So the next question you really want to ask yourself once you've figured that out is, what are some practices that we can come up with that will make this a reality? I would highly suggest creating a list of things that you can do that kind of aid yourself in achieving all of these different sensations or feelings. Essentially, you're creating a cheat sheet for how to aid in calmness, or how to aid in productivity, or how to aid in joy. Personally, I came up with quotas that I thought would help me, but I've noticed that if I set myself into too rigid of a schedule, it actually makes me feel a bit more trapped than free. And I know that sounds kind of dumb because obviously routine is really good, but having a rigid routine can sometimes be a little bit suffocating. Not to mention the fact that if I didn't hit my quota, I totally felt like a failure. We want our goal systems to work for us, not shame us. So my goals were that I wanted to do 1 meditation a day and 2 days of yoga a week, and I also wanted to break my phone addiction. These are great goals, but they weren't helping me at all. My final question for you is, what is one main thing that you're going to focus on for the rest of the year? I personally think that we should get back to the basics. I can almost guarantee you that you are feeling overwhelmed, overworked, stressed out, because I feel the same way. But we need to come up with ways to get ourselves out of this burnout and overwhelm. I had a lot of goals and systems that I was trying to create at the beginning of 2023 that, were great and all, but I didn't set up any systems for my baseline. I realized that I had to look at the foundation and start from there instead of trying to have upward mobility on a crackling and crumbling foundation. And what I've found has really helped me is kind of creating tool baskets of things that can help you feel the way that you want to feel. Having a list of things to do when you're craving joy or calmness or whatever, it's going to be a really easy way to cut down on decision fatigue or kind of feeling like you're stuck in this defeatist mindset. And I feel like these tools will help us create a positive and uplifting foundation that we can really sustain in the long run. I also think that it's vitally important to cut out physical, visual, and mental clutter wherever possible. Via my examples before, I found it really difficult to make my goals happen when I didn't really have a good system set up in place. I told myself that I would set up a system and set up my weeks every week on Sunday, but honestly, my schedule is so chaotic and all over the place that sometimes my Sundays would look like going to work all day, or it would look like finishing up video because I'd been super busy all week, or sometimes I could actually rest and reset on a Sunday. But not having a solid routine or work schedule can sometimes be really hard to create a routine around. I think something that is a bit more realistic for me is to continue to add YouTube yoga classes to a playlist that I have created and adding those into my schedule and my life where I feel it works best for me. So if I know I'm having a particularly stressful week or day, I can maybe schedule in a yoga class in the morning so that I can kind of ground myself and center myself before I go on with my day. And in terms of trying to break my phone addiction, we all know how difficult that is. I tried to suggest changing my phone background to something that would prompt me to ask myself why I was using my phone, but I don't know about you guys, I feel like I kind of go blind to my background after a while, so I usually end up changing it so that I feel refreshed a bit, but I would just breeze past it and not even realize that that was what was on the screen, and I would just continue to use my phone as I would. The only thing that has been really genuinely helpful for me is changing all of the locks on my apps and only allowing myself to use them between 2 and 8 p.m. every single day, and only getting an hour of Instagram time between the hours of 2 and 8 p.m. I also tried to suggest that maybe I could log how many hours I was using my phone or how many times I had picked it up each week, but at the end of the day, it was just one of those things that I never ended up keeping track of, and I know myself and I don't want another thing to just keep track of. Instead, I will continue to keep the locks on my phone and perhaps even just try to turn my smartphone into even more of a dumb phone. The apps that I have are pretty scant already, but I know that I could reduce it even further. All in all, I'm really highly of the camp of setting gentle expectations for yourself and mostly focusing on a feeling or a lifestyle that you want to align yourself to, rather than trying to stack goals and habits on top of an already really chaotic ground floor. I feel like we really just need to get all the way back to the basics and start from ground zero and then see what we can do to build up from there. But I'm not going to go anywhere until my foundation is nice and healthy. Right now, I am tending to my own personal garden, and by going towards a minimalist life, I feel like that has really helped solidify my goals and gauge where my true north is. Obviously, my minimalism looks different than other people's minimalism. So I challenge you to figure out what kind of lifestyle really rings true to you and see what ways you can incorporate that throughout all aspects of your life and see if you can kind of just get back to the basics before setting these really unachievable, unrealistic goals for yourself, because we're not doing ourselves any favors by shaming ourselves with quotas that we know we probably can't reach and continuing to perpetuate the fact that if we're not achieving something or making ourselves better, then we are bad inherently. It's fine to just be average. It's fine to just want to focus on yourself and setting up the basics before you go above and beyond. We all deserve to have a solid foundation in ourselves. So I really hope that this video has been helpful to you guys. If you want more kind of like realistic chats like this and check-ins and seeing how you can focus your goals and refocus them every month with something to kind of focus on, I send out an email every month on the first of the month. So one just went out a couple days ago, but it's not too late to sign up for the next one. And what we talked about in this video is pretty much what I just talked about in my email the other day. So if you liked this kind of thing and you want it every month instead of every 3 months in a YouTube video form, then sign up for my email. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Until then, I'm sending you all my love because we're all just trying our best out here. Bye.